Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Charana Deshami from Malaysia. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and assembled devotees. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my dear humble obeisance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Charana Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is this your first time, Mataji?
No, Mataji. Previously I attended.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nanda Priya Narmada Mataji. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nanda Priya Narmada Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nanda Priya Narmada Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nanda Priya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to the assembled devotees on the call. This is Anita from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna Yashimati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nanda Priya Narmada Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Shri Prabhupada, Shri Guru Maharaj. This is Shyama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। मेरा नाम पूजा अरोड़ा, मैं हरिद्वार से हूँ। सभी वैष्णव जनों के चरणों में दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna Puja Arora Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Is this your first time, Mataji?
जी माता जी।
Oh, Hari Bol Mataji, from all the way from Haridwar. Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you for joining, Mataji.
माता जी पहले भी मैंने एक दो बार केशवानंद प्रभु जी की क्लासेस ज्वाइन की हैं, बट मैंने अपना परिचय नहीं दिया, तो मैंने पहली बार आपसे बात की है।
Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you for introducing yourself, Mataji. We came to know that you're all the way from Haridwar. Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Let us all say Hari Bol 3 times to Mataji. Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Aditi Devi Dasi from Canada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Aditi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Vanishri from Bangalore, India. My humble pranams to you and all the devotees on the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vanisri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Mataji, shall we start recording, Mataji? We need to read the verse too, right? Hare Krishna.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Kesavanand Prabhuji on the call to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto 19th Chapter 7th Sloka. Before handing over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to ask Aditi Mataji to give brief introduction about Prabhuji. Mataji, please take over.
Hare Krishna. We are very fortunate to have Kesavanand Dasa Prabhu today in our midst. I would like to give a brief introduction about him. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. His Grace Kesavanand Dasa was a professional doctor prior to becoming a full-time practicing monk. For the past 20 years, he has conducted extensive research and authored books in the field of science and spirituality. He feels the rift between the science and spirituality, but must disappear to bring peace in the world. Kesavanand Das has studied both Vedic and Western philosophy. Besides learning Sanskrit, he also learned Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, and Kannada to know about other traditions. He persists and endure in the field of science and spirituality has enabled him to come up with seminars on diverse topics like science and the Vedas, mind and machines, science fails to explain life, consciousness, and beyond, etc., that he has presented in various colleges in India, Europe, and America. Under the guidance of his spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami, he has also started a Gurukula, a traditional system of Vedic education in Punjab, India, where children learn the ancient Vedic culture and value. He has also started a farm community that follows a traditional way of living with mud huts and thatched roofs and cows and of course farming. The communities will set up model for the world to show how to live a life based on the principle of simple living, high thinking. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji. We are so fortunate to have you today in our midst. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for the introduction. Prabhuji is not yet on the call, Mataji. So, is there a...
That's okay, Mataji. We can read the verse.
Yes. Indulekha Parvana Mataji will read, right?
Hare Krishna.
Yep.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Please
Hare
accept my
Krishna.
obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us. Prabhuji, your camera is tilted, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think so. Tilted means what?
Yeah, sideways. Yeah.
It's not portrait.
Yeah. Yeah. Now. Yeah. Now it's fine, Prabhuji. Yeah. Prabhuji, do you want us to read the sloka translation purport?
Yes, just read it.
Yeah. Okay. Mataji, please take
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text 7. Na janmanunam mahato na saubhagam na vana buddhir na kritistosha hetu tairyad visrastan apino vanokashas chakara sakye bata lakshmanagraja. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities, such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends? Purport. In a prayer to Krishna expressing her feelings, Srimati Kunti Devi called him a Kinchana Gochara. The prefix a means not, and Kinchana, something of this material world. One may be very proud of his prestigious position, material wealth, beauty, education, and so on. But although these are certainly good qualifications in material dealings, they are not necessary for achieving friendship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who actually possesses all these qualities, material qualities, is expected to become a devotee. And when he actually does, the qualities are properly utilized. Those who are puffed up by a high birth, wealth, education, and personal beauty, Janmaishwarya Shrutasri, unfortunately do not care for developing Krishna consciousness, nor does the Supreme Personality of Godhead care about all these material qualifications. The Supreme Lord is achieved by devotion. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One's devotion and sincere desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. Srila Rupa Goswami has also said that the price for achieving God's favor is simply one's sincere eagerness to have it. Lavlyam ekam mulyam. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is said, Khola vecha seva kera dekha bhagya sima, Brahma Shiva kande yara dekhiya mahima. Dhane jane panditye Krishna nahi pai, kevala bhaktira vasa Chaitanya Gosai. Behold the great fortune of the devotee Kolavecha. Lord Brahma and Shiva shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One cannot attain Lord Krishna by any amount of wealth, followers, or learning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is controlled only by pure devotion. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very sincere devotee whose name was Kolavecha Sridhar, and whose only business was to sell pots made of the skin of banana trees. Whatever income he had, he used 50% for the worship of Mother Ganges, and with the other 50% he provided for his necessities. On the whole, he was so very poor that he lived in a cottage that had a broken roof with many holes in it. He could not afford brass utensils, and therefore he drank water from an iron pot. Nevertheless, he was a great devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's a typical example of how a poor man with no material possessions can become a most exalted devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one cannot attain shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Gosai through material opulence. That shelter is attainable only by pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhanavritam anukulyena krishnanu bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. This is called pure devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so is my voice clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharinane Visheshunyavadi Paschadeshtarine. Okay, so we are discussing 5 point, what's this chapter? 8th?
19th chapter, 7th.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 5.19.7.
19th.
Yeah. So, na janmanunam mahato na saubhagam na vang na buddhir na akritis tosha hetu. Tair Yad visrishtan api no vanaukashash chakara sakhe matha lakshmana vrajaha. This is a verse. It's a beautiful verse where I think this verse these are feeling expressed by monkeys of Lord Ram, and they're expressing their feelings. At the same time, a philosophical message is there, and the message is, Prabhupada starts a puppet. It's the same message what Kunti Maharani gave us in the first canto. Tvam akinchana gocharam. Kunti Maharani says that who can, so gocharam means to see, who can see you. And Kunti Maharani says akinchana gocharam. Akinchana means, akinchana, means not, and kinchana means something. In Sanskrit, kinchit. Kinchana word comes from the word kinchit. Kinchit means even a little. So, for example, if you're eating in your plate prasadam, and if you have finished your prasadam, and if some other person comes who is hungry, he will ask you, is there anything left? This is in English. In Sanskrit, he might say, kinchit asti. Kinchit means, is there anything? Kinchit means anything left. Thoda sa bhi bacha hai, bacha hai. Kinchit. So akinchana means who doesn't have even a small thing left. Nothing is left for him in his heart. No material desires, even a trace of material desire is not left in his heart. That is called akinchana. In other words, he is a poor person, poor in material desires. That's what the point is. It's not, akinchana doesn't mean poor in material sense, because Yudhishthira Maharaj was a king of entire world, Prahlad was a king, and Ambarish Maharaj, all great devotees were kings, and Rishabh Dev, Nimi Maharaj. So we cannot say akinchana means poverty. That's not the point. In fact, these monkeys, they are praying in this verse that richness or poverty, that's not the qualification for Krishna's mercy. So what's the qualification? Qualification is a heart which is devoid of any traces. Kinchit means traces, literally, trace. Devoid of all traces of material desires. That's the Prabhupada quotes in the last of the puppets. Anevalashita shunyam. That verse Prabhupada quotes. And Prabhupada says, pure devotion begins when you have no other desire. Anya avilashita shunyam. All desires except the desire to serve Krishna are completely vanquished from the heart. That is called pure devotion. Now, this might seem very difficult, because to be free of all material desires, that's impossible on one hand. On another hand, we cannot even judge whether I am free of material desires or not. That's also not possible, because we might feel we are free of material desires, but there might be so many desires hidden from our own awareness in our subconscious mind. So we ourselves can never judge whether we are free of material desires. It's impossible. And that is why people fall down. Why sannyasis and so many big people in the history have big saints, they fell down. Why? Because when they looked in their heart, they saw a clean heart without any material desires. But they forgot that that 95% of our consciousness is inaccessible to us. That's why it is said, a genius uses 2% of his consciousness, of his mind, basically. By consciousness, I mean the mind. Or 2% of awareness he uses. And a super genius, or maybe like Superman, he might be using 5% of his awareness. The rest 95% is inaccessible to humans. It's hidden by Paramatma. You cannot access. So the only person who can access that is Paramatma. Nobody can access that. That is blocked. Or demigods can access by the permission of Paramatma. So there's something like some lock is there on the subconscious. some access code is with Paramatma. We don't have that access code. Or sometimes he gives his access code to Brahma or Lord Shiva or some demigods to see what's going on, but it's not there. So so how do we know we have become akinchan? And now that's the point, that's what I'm talking about. First of all, it's almost impossible to become akinchan because material desires are from millions and billions and trillions and zillions of births, and you can't overcome it just by 5, 10, 20, 30 years. It's not simply possible. It will be crazy to say that I've overcome my desire. Anybody who says I've become a kinchan, it's confirmed that he has to be admitted to some asylum. He's mad. He's a psychiatric patient. That's one problem. Another problem I told that even if you can, I mean to say, even if you want to know genuinely whether I'm free of, whether I'm a kinchan, still you'll not be able to know because of reality which is locked or inaccessible to humans. So that even if you have a project like that, it cannot be accomplished. And another problem there is to become a kinchan. These are two problems. Another problem to become a kinchan is that even if you become a kinchan, but if you do offense, again all those desires can come back and become activated by the mercy or punishment of whatever. It's not that once your heart is erased or deleted. I mean to say, even in a computer, if you delete something, it's in recycle bin. It's still there. So you can again, you go to recycle bin and then you restore it. So Krishna can restore all your sins, all your desires. He can do that. And Prabhupada writes that in Prabhupada. I think in one of the conversations, Prabhupada told that don't be egoistic that you're free of all desires, or don't think that you're becoming pure because Krishna can always restore all your desires. That access to recycle bin Krishna has. So I mean to say, much of our hard disk are like, locked up here and there. In computers, yeah, that child's lock. Yeah. So Krishna has put some child's lock here. We can't access many of the things. We have just 5% of our awareness access. I mean to say, ordinary man, he can just access 0.5% of his awareness. We ordinary people like that. Genius can access Einstein 2% of awareness. Yogis and like supernatural abilities, 5% of awareness. Rest is locked. You can't do anything. It's in hands of Daivi gods. You can't do anything by the permission of God. So what to do? It's quite a difficult thing. So what to do? That's the whole point there. And Kunti says only Akinchan can see you. So, but then how do I know I become Akinchan or qualified to, or I deserve the darshan of Lord or whatever? So how to solve this problem? The solution of this problem is here in this verse. So although Kunti says Tama Kinchana Kocharam, but Kunti also knows that to judge what is Akinchan, that's impossible. That's an impossibility. So what can be done? The only thing we can do is, here these monkeys are saying, Tair yad visrishtan apino vana aukashas, inhabitants of forest. The monkey says, we are inhabitants of forest, and you have done, and you have made a friendship with us. Hanuman, Sugriv, and they are surprised. Bata means, I mean to say, so Bata means those monkeys are saying, we have no words to speak and to express our feelings. How can we speak anything more? Supreme Lord has made friendship with us who are inhabitants of forest. Now, here is a key to have darshan of Lord. Inhabitants of forest means they are humble enough to accept that they are wild, Forest means wild species, wild people who have no good manners. In fact, all these monkeys, even Sita, when Hanuman went to Lanka and Hanuman said to Sita, this is Ram and this is information. He gave that ring of Lord Ram to Sita. She was convinced that, okay, he's a messenger. Hanuman said, okay, well, let's go. I'll put you on my shoulder and let's go. Sita made a comment there, by the way, in Valmiki Ramayana. Sita said, you are Vanara. You still have a monkey mind. Sita sarcastically told Hanuman, you have monkey body and you have a monkey mind. What you are saying? I should sit on your shoulder and you'll take me to Ram? It's a crazy idea. And then she actually refutes this idea of Hanuman by giving solid 2-3 arguments. She said, first of all, you're a male and I am a female. And you want to destroy Maryada of Lord Ram by touching me. First of all, Raman touched me and now you want to touch me. You're a monkey or what? You're a complete Vanar. And second, if you take me, then it will bring a lot of disgrace to Ram. Because now glory of saving. So you actually snatched the glory of Lord Ram for yourself. See what you're doing. You're completely doing some non-devotional activity. So it's a crap idea. And third is if you take me, then all other prisoners and who are tortured by Raman, what will happen to them? So let Lord Ram's mercy not just come to me, but extend to all others. So you're trying to shrink the mercy of Lord Ram. But as a devotee, what should be your role? Your devotee should be to expand his mercy. And so she actually told you, you're still a monkey. So that's the point. Vanar Aukasha. So these monkeys are remembering, might be remembering that incident, what Sita told. And they told, well, we are inhabitants of forest, we are monkeys, and even Sita confirmed we don't have a mind, proper mind. And that is a qualification to actually attain mercy, Lord. And the mere fact that they accepted their degraded position, that becomes a mercy. So you see, you can make you can make a curse in blessings. That is a trick of devotional service. If you traverse any other path like yoga and jnana, then you have to become free of all desires. You have to Arya Krichena Paramparam Tata Bhagavatam says. You have to Arya Krichena. It's a very tough path. You have to do tapasya, this and that, and erase all the sinful activities and desires and meditation. That's the path. But here in devotion, devotees are much intelligent than them, actually. I would not like to say intelligent, but I would like to say devotees are really cunning people. Jnani is intelligent, but we are cunning. We have found a loophole there. Now, Jnanis have to pass many births and then they have to purify themselves and then they say, but our argument is, well, first of all, you have to spend so much time to actually become a kinchan. And the second point is you will never know that you have become a kinchan. So your whole project is a failure. So what to do? So we find a loophole. We say, okay, fine. Let's not become free of desires in a literal sense. Let's accept first that we are full of desires. I am a fallen person. I am not a kinchan. Oh my Lord, I am not a kinchan. I am full of desires. But I want to become a kinchan. But nevertheless, I am fallen. And this acceptance that I am not a kinchan, this is a key to attain God. Rather than becoming a kinchan, you accept that you are not a kinchan. And then Krishna will accept you. That's what they are saying. We are inhabitants of forest. We are useless monkeys. But such a surprising fact. We are monkeys. Our mind is disturbed. Our mind is uncontrolled. Monkeys means uncontrolled mind. But still Ram made friendship with us. It's surprising. He didn't make friendship with scholars and philosophers and people of high caste and beautiful males and females. But he made with us. Why? because they didn't accept that they are fallen and that they're not a kinchan. Maybe Gyanis and Yogis, but you made with us. And this is called as humbleness. And that's what Vallabhacharya, he says in his, where he says, but Vallabhacharya, when Vallabhacharya went to Mathura and he was really, really disturbed because he saw that Kali Yuga people, there is no hope for Kali Yuga people because the billions of desires in their hearts, so they cannot go back to God. So Krishna actually gave him darshan, and Krishna told Vallabhacharya, don't become disturbed. And I'll give you a mantra, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. And you initiate people in this. But before that, they should take a oath and a vow. And then there is a mantra when they take initiation. And there in the mantra, in English, I'll just translate. And so it's not literal, but it says that, oh my Lord, I have passed millions and millions of births, and I have developed millions of desires, and I'm so fallen, but please accept. That's the point. So the idea is, the idea is to accept that we are not a kinchan. And that pleases Lord. Why? Because that's reality. We accept reality. We accept, okay, we are like this. We want to become a kinchan, but we are not, and perhaps we cannot become a kinchan. But we'll try our best, but at the same time, at present state, we are complete nonsense, and without your mercy, it's impossible. So that kind of humbleness is required. And then Krishna becomes pleased by that humbleness, and then he purifies us, that 95% he has access. He purifies us and takes back home to Godhead. So that's the process. And these monkeys are doing the same thing. They are saying, that's why they're surprised. I mean, to say for them, they're surprised why Lord has not rejected us. Why Lord Ramachandra was using us as his army. He could have he could have alone destroyed everything. He's God. But he actually used us, and he became dependent on us and gave us this service. But he didn't give this service to any demigods or anyone. You might say, well, because he made monkeys in service because Ravana had this boon that he cannot be killed by demigods and this and that and that and that. So that's why Ram had to use monkeys in service, but that's not a good logic, because God can do anything without, I mean to say, whatever kind of boon may be there, but God can devise many other plans to diffuse that boon. Mm-hmm. It's not that so it's not that he has just one solution for a problem. He has thousands and infinites of solutions for one problem. We can't even imagine that. But nevertheless, he did this. He chose this solution because in this solution, he wanted to give service to monkeys. So he gave that. So that's what Chandogya Upanishad also says. Nasti krita kritena. Chandogya Upanishad says, what's the qualification to get mercy of Lord? The first is you accept karmana. What's that verse? That I'm fallen, and then you accept that by my strength I cannot become a kinchan. By my own strength, by my own sadhana, I cannot become a kinchan. By my own chanting, by my own sadhana, I can't become a kinchan. I'll do my sadhana, but I don't have faith on my sadhana that it can lead to perfection. That's the whole point. Why? Because I have faith on the mercy of Lord and not just on my sadhana. It's not possible. Why? Because so it's not because that sadhana is incompetent to attain sadhe, but it's because I cannot perform sadhana properly. That's the whole point there. So if you say I can perform my sadhana perfectly, that's pride. And I mean to say, so even in a literal sense, what kind of sadhana we are doing? We are doing some crap sadhana, some Hare Krishna, something, and some reading and something. In comparison to Goswamis, what we are doing? Yeah, absolutely. We are not even a stool. They are in front of all these things. So what is the value of our sadhana in the eyes of Lord? Nothing. But the value, what is a value of, what is valuable in the eyes of Lord is humility. Is a fact that we do sadhana, but at the same time, we are not proud of our sadhana. That by my sadhana, I can become a Kinchan. No. I will do whatever you want. I have to try my best. But it's ultimately your mercy, which is a final stroke there, which will do the major work. My is just one step. It said, it said in common parlance that if you take one step towards God, God will take 10 steps. That is there in Sanatan Dharma, somewhere, Samhita. But in Quran it is said, Allah says that if you, it is said, if you pray to me while standing, if you wait for me, I will walk towards you. If you walk towards me, I'll run towards you. And if you run towards me, I'm already there in your heart. It's in Quran. It's a very famous saying. Not famous, I don't know, but it's very nice. So that's the whole point. That's why Prabhupada brings that point here. Actually, in the purport, Prabhupada brings that here. Lolyam ekalam moolayam. Prabhupada says, one's devotion and sincere desire to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. So qualification is not that we become free of all desires, which is not even possible. That is mission impossible. But the qualification is the desire to serve God and the desire to become pure. That is the qualification. Krishna is seeing that desire. He's not seeing that whether you have become 100% pure or not, because that you cannot. He also knows everything is inaccessible. What do you want to see? He wants to see that desire, sincere desire to serve and to become pure. And that's why Prabhupada says, and that's why Prabhupada writes, Rupa Goswami also said that the price for achieving God's favor is simply one's sincere eagerness to have it. You see a sincere eagerness, oh my Lord, I want your mercy. Only by that mercy I can become a Kinchan. There's no other way. I'll do my sadhana, but I don't have faith in myself. I don't have faith in my sadhana in the sense that my sadhana can make me achieve you.
Ability.
Yeah. Ability. Or my sadhana can make myself completely desireless, because my sadhana, I'm like useless. I cannot even do sadhana properly. That's the whole point. Prabhupada says, that greed and that desire to become pure, desire to serve, that is what counts in the eyes of Lord. And we know that for an example, of course, of that squirrel and Hanuman.
Yes.
So Lord Ram gave equal mercy to both of them. Although squirrel stones would not have contributed anything in that bridge, like completely waste. But Lord Ram saw sincere desire for service. So that sincerity to serve and to achieve God's favor and to become pure, that is required, that desire, that's all. And that's why Prabhupada said that Prabhupada, that's why I said my devotees in ISKCON are pure devotees. Now many people, let's like to spend 5 minutes here, many people, especially in Gaudiya Math, at that time Prabhupada was there in ISKCON. Many Gaudiya Math, not all, but many Gaudiya Math people, they were saying Prabhupada has written wrong in his works because he called his devotees pure devotees, but these are hippies, these are complete nonsense. How can they become pure devotees? You see the point there. And many Gaudiya Math sannyasis at that time who were preaching in Bangladesh and Bengal, these foreigners were coming in ISKCON, they were joining. And then from ISKCON, they were like hijacked by Gaudiya Math. Many of them went there. And those sannyasis who were actually reinitiating these hippies, who were actually initiated by Prabhupada, and it was like quite offensive thing was going on. but they were initiating but they were not taking food made by their hand, even if they were their disciples. That's crap, because they were thinking that these are not pure devotees, they're malicious, and this was absolutely complete nonsense. And then one of the sannyasis of Gaudiya Math, he wrote a book, commentary on Bhagavatam, and he said this English rendition by this Bhaktivedanta Swami, it's completely sinful and offensive, like it's very bad. And then why? Because he has wrong siddhanta. And one of the point was he called all his hippies as pure devotees. It's wrong, but Prabhupada was correct, because I mean, it is who are these monkeys of Lord Ram? What do you want to tell? They are wild, but they're pure devotees because they're associating with Lord face to face and they're engaged in service. So Prabhupada told, what is pure devotee? Pure devotee is a person who has sincere desire to serve God and a hope against hope to attain the favor of Lord. That's a pure devotee. And so we can be pure. Anyavilashita Shunyam doesn't mean that you're free of all desires, because we can't be, as already told. That is mission impossible. So Anyavilashita Shunyam means that I want to be free of all desires. A desire to be desireless. That's what Krishna wants. That's all. Rest he will do. That's our job. But that desire to become desireless, that is a result of sadhana. So what's the role of sadhana? What it will do? It will produce a desire to become desireless and a desire to attain mercy of Lord. And that's why sahajyas who don't do sadhana, they directly jump to this point. Okay, I desire the mercy of Lord, favor of Lord. But the problem is they don't desire to become desireless because they're sahajyas, because they think, what would you have desireless? It's all inside. I don't know. We don't want to. We just want to think of mercy of Lord. We want mercy of Lord. But that's not the complete picture. They're full of desires, but they want mercy of Lord, and that in itself is a mission failure. Because they don't come to this point. I should have a desire to become desireless, because sahajyas think that we are desireless. That's why we are sitting in Radha Kund and we are gopis, and I want your mercy. So there is a flaw there. So pure devotion means you have a desire to become desireless, and you have a desire to attain, actually a desire to attain God's favor. But in that desire to attain God's favor, that desire is full of, it's not full of, let me just put, that desire is there to attain God's mercy, but at the same time, a devotee knows that that desire to attain God's mercy is very rare. That's also there. So there is a hopeless desire. That, let me put it like that. There is a bleak hope, a small hope that I will attain Lord's mercy. Intense desire, but small hope. That kind of desires. So there's a desire. So there can be two types of desire. One is optimistic desire. Yes, I desire 100 crore rupees and I will. But this desire is not, but this desire is actually pessimistic desire. I desire God's mercy, but perhaps I will not. That kind of negativity, that kind of hopelessness is there in this desire. And then God becomes very happy. Then Krishna becomes very happy. So that's why it said the entrance to the kingdom of God is very narrow. Said in Bible, it's very narrow. But that entrance of temple to God is narrow. At the same time, it is not. an attitude of positivity. It's an attitude of negativity which will help us to enter the kingdom of God. And that's why all the mystic saints, of all religions, without any exception, they have said that if you want to attain God, let your heart be injured by unhappiness. Let your heart be injured by hopelessness. But at the same time, let your heart be on fire to attain God. But it should be injured by hopelessness. Now, then that heart is ready to receive the mercy of God. In fact, this Saint Francis, as a Christian saint, when he died, it is said they opened his chest and saw it, his heart was burned. It is said like that, and on his heart there were words written that my heart is on fire of kingdom of God. That means he had intense fire to attain God. But it was burned. Why? Because there was hopelessness that I will not be able to make it. And that combination is very important. And then you become truly true recipient of the mercy of God. That hopelessness and that desire. That is called dinta. That is called humility. Humility is intense desire plus hopelessness. That's called humility. Because if you have intense desire and hope, then that's not humility, that's pride. I have intense desire to attain God's favor. I will attain. What's that? That's completely crap. That's ego. Or you might say, I have a lot of hope to attain mercy of God, but I don't have desire to attain it. It doesn't make any sense. Then you are simply imagining something. So now how to attain this kind of heart? How to attain this combination? That's what Prabhupada says. Laulyam api ekalam mulyam. A desire to attain God's mercy, and then in that desire, hopelessness is like so it's like, what do you say? That hopelessness is included in that word laulyam. That laulyam api ekalam mulyam. So how to get that? We don't have that. We don't have such intense desire to attain God that we'll say my heart is on fire. We can't say. And neither we can say, I am completely hopeless that I'll not be able to attain God. That's also not there. So how to get such a heart? That is a function of sadhana. Sadhana's function is not to attain God, because you cannot attain God by your own sadhana. It will be stupid to say that by my sadhana I will attain God. So what sadhana does then? Then should we leave doing any sadhana and just call for the mercy of Lord? That's also stupidness. Sadhana creates this kind of heart. It molds our heart into such a state, our consciousness at such a state where we have intense desire plus hopelessness. And it makes us a recipient and a fertile ground for receiving the favor of the Lord. And then by that mercy we attain Lord. So that's a whole paradigm. So people get really confused. Sri Sampradaya broke into two parts, Tinkalai, Vadakalai. So Vadakalai was telling that, well, you have to do sadhana and we attain God by sadhana. Tinkalai was telling, no, it's by mercy we can attain God. And both were right, but both could not harmonize things. So both are required, sadhana and mercy, because sadhana creates a desire, that kind of heart, desire and hopelessness. Desire and hopelessness attracts the mercy of Lord, and the mercy of Lord then helps us to attain Lord. That's the whole thing. So that's what we are doing. That's why these monkeys are saying we are inhabitants of forest. So I mean, these monkeys are not stupid people, first of all. We are inhabitants of forest. this inhabitants of forest, so it's also in a literal sense, but it's also in a very indirect sense. Forest means wild. We are wild. We don't have knowledge of dharma. We don't have good birth. We don't have fortune. We don't have high intelligence. We have to mute something, Mataji. Yeah, so we don't have all these things. We are animals. That's what we have to understand. We are animals, but in the garb of devotees. That's all. We are animals who have put tilak and kanthi. Internally, we are all animals. That's the whole point. We have animalistic tendencies, animalistic reflexes, animalistic consciousness, but we think ourselves a Vaishnava and a devotee, and that this kind of consciousness really displease God. If we think we are devotees, we are a little pure, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't attract the mass of Lord. So they are really advanced devotees, actually, by the way. Otherwise, why they will stay here? But still, you made friendship with us, and they're really surprised by this fact. So, a real devotee is surprised by the fact that we are still doing devotion. That's a surprising fact. Who are we that we should be in the house of God, chanting His names? Who are we? We are like special people or what? We are like, some devotee was asking me yesterday, or day before yesterday, that we might have done some past life devotional service. And I told him that, well, even if you have done past life devotional service, but you should think that you're complete crap and you have done nothing, and whatever you have got is due to mercy of Vaishnavas and God. That type of thinking. So one devotee, he came to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, we might have done past life devotional service. That's why we are given a chance. It's like Prabhupada said, you are rascals and you are a rascal. You're still a rascal. I have made your devotional credits. That's all. So actually these monkeys, they are talking about a state of consciousness which can attract mercy of God. That's the whole point. This verse is talking about a state of, and that state of consciousness is in reality akinchan. Akinchan means a state of consciousness which is devoid of any pride. Akinchan, kinchit, no trace of pride. That's the whole point. Although you might like to translate akinchan as no material desire, but in real sense it means no pride. And that's what Prabhupada says. Kunti Mahani says, Ebi man madapaman. People are proud of the Janmeshware. But devotees are not pride. So that is the key. Akinchan means no pride left in your heart. The more humble you become, the more you're a recipient of mercy, Lord. So you don't have to work on your desires, basically. You have to work on your pride. And rest Krishna will take it. He will do the rest of the thing. And that's difficult because once we start doing sadhana, we will automatically feel that I have become advanced and I am becoming pure. You will get a pride that I am chanting and he's not chanting. Or non-devotees are not chanting, I'm chanting, I'm assisting devotees. So to get rid of that pride, it's almost impossible because you're doing that, and that's a fact. I mean, to say non-devotees are not doing anything and you're doing something. And that's a fact that you're better than them. You can't say I am not better than them. Yeah, well, you're drinking alcohol or meat, or you're not doing that. So, so to get this state of consciousness that I'm the worst of all and I'm fit for nothing, that's very difficult, and that is a function of sadhana. It cannot be. So you cannot make some mental adjustments to get this consciousness. You can hear philosophy, and that will help you. But at the end of the day, it will be your sadhana, it will be your, of course, chanting, which will, holy name, which will help you to bring to that consciousness. Of course, hearing is very important, because if you don't hear, you will not even come to know that this kind of problem is there and you have to work there. So philosophy is there to make you aware of what you have to really doing and what you are doing. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing. So that's this verse all about. Although this verse seems very simple, but it's a very deep verse. Yeah. So if you're not surprised in your devotion, then it means you're not advancing. You're not advancing. A devotee, every second he's surprised. I mean, it's the devotee surprised. How can I've spent 1 second more in devotion. How is this possible? There's a miracle happening every second. I'm still there in devotion. And the next second I'm there, it's a miracle. Because truly we are completely unqualified to be chanting the holy names of God, or to stay in the temple of God. So this kind of attitude, consciousness, pleases God and Lord. Why? Because this is reality. Everything is illusion. And that is called pure devotion. Yeah, Hare Krishna. I just want to take some questions and then continue class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for such a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Devotees, if anyone has any questions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Wonderful verse, Prabhuji. Means, every day when we do devotional service, it feels like, tomorrow will be better day than this. So many mistakes we make while doing, and we forget to chant the mantra, Aparada Sasrani Kriyante, like that. So it's very difficult, Prabhu, with this body, we want to glorify ourselves, and we forget so many things about Krishna to do, and our daily routine and sadhana. And day ends, and again next day we feel that today I will do better. So it's difficult, Prabhu, without the mercy of devotees and without the mercy of the Lord and Guru and Gauranga.
Yeah, we have to, I guess we have to daily remind ourselves this reality here again and again. I don't know what to do, so I think we have to beat ourselves, do something. We are like hard nuts, hard case, something, at least myself.
Yeah,
so,
yes.
Yeah, let's wait.
This mind is so ridiculous. We just I cannot take it. It's very difficult, Prabhu. I don't know. And
well,
you can guide, Prabhu.
I think we have to accept that we are ridiculous. We have accepted. We are saying like that, but still, you know what I mean to say. We have to really. That's the whole point. We have to accept that we are complete nonsense. But that acceptance comes very slowly, and probably Krishna has to interfere in our lives and give problems to make us accept that okay, we are worth nothing. When once that happens, we're going back to spiritual kingdom. But that is the point. We have to come to that point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah.
Prabhu, we want to do better. We want to, but why we cannot do it?
Yeah, we cannot do. Why? Because we become proud of our practice. So we again fall down. That's the whole point. Because when we do practice nicely, then we feel good, and that we feel happy, and that happiness distracts us from our goal and our path, and then we again fall down. And then again we're like, oh, I'm impure, now what to do? Again we try, we get up, and then we think we are becoming little impure, and then we again fall down. That's why we are like not able to do things. So we have to remember that continuously, first of all, we don't have to get distracted by happiness and bliss. And the second is we have to really remember that this case is not curable. Our case is not curable and solvable. Krishna has to help. So then things can keep on. Otherwise Krishna will make us fall down, because he doesn't want that our life gets waste. So once we get pride, we fall down, and that's the whole cause of fall down. Again and again, it goes up and down. That's why we are proud of our sadhana, and that's the whole problem. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there's a question from Jyoti Takme Mataji. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhuji, is not a thin line between negative attitude and getting depressed if one is sincerely doing sadhana? What is that thin line about, and handle it?
Well, negative attitude and depression. Yeah, it's a very good question, because many devotees ask me that question. Now, obviously, if we have negative attitude, then we'll become depressed. But at the same time, our attitude towards material world is neither negative, neither positive. It's neutral. Whatever is the practical we do, as far as material world it goes. So first of all, we should not be confused that we have a negative attitude towards our whole material life. Material life is useless, that we know that. But we do whatever is required, we do practical things. But what the negative attitude we're talking about is, of course, I mean to suggest a lot of negativity there, because we know material world is useless, it's full of birth and death, and it is of no value there. And even in spiritual world, a negative attitude, it's hopelessness. And so then you might say we'll become depressed. That's a natural question. But Krishna says in Bhagavatam, no, my devotees will not become depressed. Why? Because we have a ray of hope, not a sun of hope, but a ray of hope that Krishna will rescue us. And that ray of hope, even a ray of hope of God who is infinite, that ray will also be infinite. You don't need the sun. That ray of hope makes devotee keep on going and not fall down into depression. The whole idea is we are convinced that we are useless, material world is useless, we will not be able to make towards a goal. But we are also convinced that Krishna will make this mission possible. We cannot, but Krishna can. So we have complete confidence on Krishna, on his ability. Now we become depressed because we are thinking only of ourselves. I don't have ability to attain God. And that's true. We have to think. Material world is useless. I'm useless. But in this whole picture of uselessness, we have forgotten Krishna. He can do impossible possible. So there are two sides. One is positive, one is negative. So we become depressed if you see only negative side. But if you see positive side, which is there, and we cannot underestimate his ability. He can do anything if he likes. And that gives us hope. And that doesn't get us down in depression. So we have to balance both of them. Otherwise, definitely we'll go into depression. So that's why it is said, always meditate on the fact that this world is useless, I'm useless, but always simultaneously meditate on the fact Krishna is very nice and is a friend of all. in this verse it says, Krishna is Satyam, he's friend of all. I mean to say, even these monkeys, what they're saying we are monkeys and we are nonsense, but they're saying, oh, Lord Ramachandra made friendship with us and he kept people like us with him. So they are seeing hope in him. So we become depressed when we forget God. That's the whole point. You cannot become depressed if you remember God. That's impossible. If you remember God, you cannot become depressed. So that's the whole point. In this whole approach of negativity, there's a risk of being depressed. Why? Because we forget God and we again start thinking of ourselves. I mean to say, there's an equal risk in positivity also. Sahajas are optimistic and positive. Oh, we can attain mercy of God and this and that, and we can attain a Swarupa. But at the same time, they are simply thinking, oh, I can attain, I, and they forget God. And they become Sahajas and they can never attain love of God. So there's risk in both. Why? As soon as you forget God, there's a risk. So that balance, if you do, then there's no question of depression. I mean to say, if negativity would have produced depression, then the first person to go to psychiatrist would be Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was weeping for 12 years in Gambhira. I mean to say, even Rupa Goswami would have to show to some psychiatrist. He would have gone to some psychiatrist. I'm depressed because I've understood material body useless. I'm useless. There's no hope. But they didn't go into depression, and so why we are going into depression? Now we are going into depression. So this means some devotees says, no, this kind of thinking will lead to depression. So let's change the philosophy. And that's error, because no matter you change the philosophy, you do optimistic or negative, whatever you do, a person who cannot remember God, he can never become happy. He will nevertheless go into depression or frustration or some maniacness, something. So that's the point. The idea is not negativity, positivity. The idea is, what is philosophy, what is reality? Reality is material world is useless. Reality is we are useless. Reality is Krishna is supreme and he is our master, he is our hero, he can do anything, and there lies our hope. My hope doesn't lie in this material world or in myself. My hope lies in him. And that balance, when that's there, then there's no question of depression. There's bliss. And that's why Lord Chaitanya Charitamrita says, the bliss of devotion is like so bahire vishara argal. So externally it is very hot and where it's burning, but internally it is cool like an ice. So that kind of combination is there. Externally there is negativity and hopelessness, but internally there is a ray of hope inside it. There is a substance to taste, and that's there. So that combination is required to please God. Otherwise, you'll never please God.
So, like, here comes the role of Vaishnava, who keeps us reminding about like positive and negative.
Yeah. So devotees keep us reminding, and we have to keep on reading Chaitanya Charitamrita books, and here to devotees who can remind you. You have to strike a balance between these both things. Otherwise, we'll definitely become depressed. You see, you got the point there. Yeah, this is how. Otherwise, so I mean to say, before anybody else, I would have become depressed. But I'm not depressed. I'm happy. But I'm talking like this. But then there is some secret there. And there's a secret. We know that everything is negative and frustrating. We know that, we are aware of this, but our eyes are fixed on that ray of hope. So just like so you see, just like if you are lost in a forest in the night, there's dark all around, there are wild beasts, and you're completely like fearful, and you're like perhaps like about to faint, but in the far off you see a faint light, a ray of light. That's your hope, and you'll simply run towards it. You will not consider anything else. So this is the point. We are aware there's darkness all around, but we know that there is a light there. We run enthusiastic. That's our hope. That's the way, and we run. This is a method to escape from this material world and attain God. There's no other method, as far as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings are concerned.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, do you have some more time,
Yeah,
Prabhuji?
yeah.
There are 2 more questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question from Narahari Dev Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. First is this Akinchana attitude something we should cultivate, or is this something that is bestowed upon the devotees as a special mercy? And there's one more question, Prabhuji. How do we get over this anartha of pride?
Okay. Is there any special mercy to get Akinchana attitude? I just told there. We need proper hearing first of all. If we don't have a proper hearing, then we'll forget all these things, and then again we'll be involved in our own thoughts and some stories or something. So we need a regular hearing of these things. If you read regularly, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, that will keep on reminding you that this is what is the state of consciousness we have to achieve. And the second thing is chanting of holy names. We are chanting of holy names. These two powerful. I need to say, don't try to finish your rounds. We have to finish our rounds, but try to chant at least nicely and little like a sober man. Don't be like a wild person. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, it'll serve no purpose. You just finish your rounds, and that's why I told on the other day, you might be finishing 16 rounds, but you might not be chanting. I finished my 16 rounds, but I didn't chant. That's the whole point there. You finished your 16 rounds, but you didn't chant. There's a difference between chanting and finishing your rounds. So if we do these two things, then we can attain this kind of state of consciousness. And of course, you have to remain alert from Maya. She's always there to spoil your achievements. She wants to nullify all your achievements and all your gifts. And then you have to start from zero. So you have to become alert in this material world so that she doesn't harm you. And for that, also we need to understand philosophy, in what way she can harm you. Otherwise she'll catch you unalert and unwarned. So philosophy warns you, okay, this is the problem state. And then slowly we'll attain that state. Okay, so that was the first question. Second was how to overcome?
How to get over this anartha of pride?
Yeah, anartha of pride, how to get over it? It's the most difficult anartha. You can get over the anartha of lust, but not pride. Because as soon as you get over the anartha of lust, you will immediately get anartha of pride, because I've conquered lust. What to do with that? So there's a catch. Catch 22. You overcome anartha of lust and anger, and that generates another anartha. So okay, so then the solution is don't overcome the anartha of lust. That's no solution. So you're in a trap there. So how to overcome anartha of pride? There is just one way to do that. By Prabhupada says, Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. Do everything as per the instructions of Lord and the Parampara. Don't do anything by your mind. Otherwise you will be trapped. Because when you do something on the order, that is humbleness. Okay? I'm not doing it. It's on my decision. It's on the order of the Parampara and Vaishnavas and scriptures, and that will help us to overcome pride. This is one thing. Of course, another thing is Vaishnava Seva. serve Vaishnavas. That's always there. But this is the way to overcome that. There's no other. Don't do anything by your mind. That's the whole idea. Do everything, all your activities, daily activities, emergency activities, routine activities, special activities, as far as possible on the orders of scriptures and the parampara. So that mentality of being subservient and the order carrier, that will help you not to become proud. Because if you conquer lust and anger, then you know that I have conquered it because I followed the order. So then you will not, because it was a strength of order which helped me to get over anger and lust. It was not my strength. That's very important.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
There's one more question from Anand Vilas Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What's the English equivalent of Sahijyas? He's asking about the word. Is it cheap or short?
English word of Sahijya is easy and cheap. Anything easy and cheaply taken is Sahij. Literal meaning is easy, Sahaj. Or in other words, you can say, I have, so I think this job is like, so it can be easily accomplished. So you have taken that job cheaply, isn't it? So these are two words, either easy or cheap. This is the meaning of Sahij. Sahijyas are people who think that everything is Sahaj. Sahaj means easy or cheap. That's it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Are there any further questions, Prabhuji?
Yes, Hare Krishna. I just want to follow up on your answer to Shamguri Mataji's question about why, we have this back and forth in our sadhana. And you were saying that, when we are doing well, we get, I guess, some pride that we are doing our sadhana nicely. And so I didn't catch why it is that happiness about our doing well in our sadhana leads to falling down. Because, I mean to say, we should have some form of encouragement on this process. It's already hard. So why can't you give me that?
No, you see, we are seeking encouragement at the wrong place. That's the whole point there. Our encouragement. Okay, so there's another question, but let me just first answer your first question. That, well, if we feel happiness, then why it leads to a fall down? Because we think that I have put effort, and by my effort, now I mean to say I put effort and I chant and I get a Mangal Arati. This, so by my effort, I have got this happiness, and it's so nice. I did something good, and that is proud. That is pride. So we fall down. So and that we get trapped in happiness. That's a trap there. So that's why all acharyas, they say, don't seek encouragement and happiness and bliss and devotion. In fact, many saints and many acharyas, they say that they pray to God that, God, we don't want ecstasy, we don't want happiness, because sometimes it's a distraction in our service. Our encouragement is not happiness. Our engagement is a fact that Krishna is engaging in us in his service. That's our encouragement. And I have so that's this verse all about. That monkeys are saying, oh my Lord, you made friendship with us. It's so surprising. So you see, the happiness and those things are very, very, very small our happiness is very small in front of service which God is giving us. So that's why Acharyas pray, if in your service I get completely miserable, still I will keep on serving you. And that's the last words of Shashtakam. Even if you trample me, even if you neglect me, even if you don't give me any happiness and send me to hell, still you're my master person. But you see, so our happiness is that, our encouragement is that fine relationship with God, our relationship with God, which is eternal, which is not based on that if there's happiness, then there's encouragement. If there's no, then there is less encouragement. No, it's always, soul is always encouraged to serve God. And that is very important to understand. Otherwise, we will never attain the state of Ashlishava Padratam Pinastumam. We lose that state of consciousness. And of course, that's difficult, but that's the point. So that's why it is said, a real test of devotion is in the state when the devotee is arid. The word arid is used when the devotee's heart is like a desert. Now, Krishna sometimes makes the heart like a desert. There is no drop of happiness there. And in that state, when a devotee does service to God, that is the most pleasing state, because that is a test of, because by that Krishna knows where your encouragement. We are completely encouraged. We might not feel any happiness, but we are still 100% encouraged. Why? Because Krishna is using us in his service. And that fact alone is enough to make soul completely contented and encouraged to serve him eternally. So that's where our encouragement lies. That's why we should not rely upon happiness and ecstasy, because it can be a trap. It can be a big trap. That's the point there.
So therefore, you're saying that to get encouragement from happiness is basically to like do devotional service for sense gratification.
Yeah. You're right. It's for sense gratification. You got it. It's a subtle sense gratification, and Krishna doesn't want either of that. So that's what Radharani, she came out with the verse, I mean to say, why would Lord Chaitanya speak this verse? To actually make us realize sort of happiness and all this. Our root is sadness. But then how to become encouraged? How to keep us encouraged in that sadness? That was the question. That's what you were trying to figure out. That encouragement in this whole journey of sadness and crying, which Mahaprabhu was doing, that encouragement is an eternal relationship with God, which can never be broken. And that keeps us continuing. And that is a real bond between soul and super soul. No other factor, our faith and our encouragement relies on no other factor except that the fact that I'm related to Krishna. That's all. That is called love. I told you. Love is not based on anything else, neither bliss, neither ecstasy, nothing is required. Simply the fact that I am servant of God, that will keep him encouraged for actually eternity. We don't need any other fact there.
So therefore, it's a challenge at the sadhaka stage, because in the or I should say the neophyte stage, because in the neophyte stage, the taste for devotional service is not so much there.
You're right. I mean to say, in the neophyte devotional service, let me not say taste. I mean, taste is neophyte can experience taste or shadow of taste, but at the same time, of course, happiness. They might experience happiness, but their whole conviction of this fact that I'm servant of Krishna and Krishna is actually employing me in his service. That conviction and that awareness is not there in neophyte stage. So that's why they become frustrated and this. So that's why they seek happiness. They kind of seek happiness at neophyte stage. Prabhuji, I'm not feeling happy. So what to do? And then they feel discouraged. But advanced devotees, they also are not always flying in ecstasy and always feeling happy. I mean, it doesn't happen like that. There are phases of darkness and aridness and temptations. It's always there in this material world. But still they continue with full encouragement because they're aware of their relationship with God and convinced. So, and that's the whole difference between neophyte and advanced stage.
Okay, so the difference is neophytes, they get, I should say, neophytes, they're not really realizing that the real taste in devotional service is in one's awareness of of his relationship with Krishna, whereas more advanced devotees, they're not disturbed by the absence of happiness or the presence of distress because that's not the source of their fulfillment. The source of their fulfillment is in awareness of their relationship. Is it?
Yeah, you're correct. Correct, perfectly correct. Yeah. Perfectly correct.
Okay, well, like I said, that's a tough one when you know.
Yeah, you're right. That's a tough one. But you see the point. That's a tough one, but once you get it, that's eternal.
Yeah. And Prabhu, you know, when we are suffering from this pride in our sadhana, right? Why does, when we fall down, is it that Krishna, what is Krishna's role there in that fall down? I mean, we always hear that Krishna doesn't like pride, but when our sadhana falls off, right? What is Krishna's role there, if any?
Krishna's role is first to make us fall down because he likes to help us. So when we become pride, he doesn't want that we should be like completely astrayed and bewildered from devotional paths. So he helps us to make us temporarily fall down there, to give us a jolt that, hey, my, devotee, you're not going on the right path. So he has to bring us down. So that he does temporarily, but then again he picks us up slowly and steadily, and might be, he might send some devotees, or he might give you realization that that now, oh, you should not become proud of your sadhana, but still we become. Then again he puts us down, and then he again picks us up, and he keeps on doing this until we realize that no. We should not be proud of our sadhana. It's all Krishna's mercy. So that's the role of him.
Yeah, because if
he makes us temporarily fall down, but at the same time, speak on.
Yeah, if he did not bring us down and he allowed us to keep continuing in our pride and our sadhana, then what would be the danger there? What would be the result of his not intervening?
No, the danger will be we go to hell.
Oh my God, we've
because
lost
Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Pratishtha sa ashi dushi biman hoibe niroyagami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if we become proud and if Krishna doesn't stop, we go to hell. He knows grave consequences, or I mean to say, we might do some Vaishnava offense, grave Vaishnava offense. We might be implicated in Vaishnava offense. We will be completely out of devotion, lifetimes. So it's a very dangerous position, pride. That's why Krishna doesn't like pride. I mean to say lust, okay, lust, lust, you don't do some offense, lust or greed. But pride, you can do Vaishnavas and do senior devotees because you're proud now. So he wants to save us from all these dangers.
Okay, so the main problem with pride is that we develop a sense of superiority, right? And from that, we become offensive to others.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah,
and that's what sends us to hell, is it?
It's not really. I mean to say, so we might not do offense literally, but a mentality becomes offensive, which we may not even realize that we are offensive. We may not even sometimes realize we are offensive, but a mentality becomes that I am a superior Vaishnava, and that is a very dangerous mentality, and that is in itself sufficient to take us to hell. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. It's not necessary that you do offense.
But in Kali Yuga, we hear that you have to actually commit the offense.
In Kali Yuga, it is you have to commit offense, it is said, but that is only for people who do not know this. Now we know that, so this rule doesn't apply to us.
So ignorance is bliss, huh?
Yeah, you're right. Ignorance is bliss.
Oh, brother. Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh my God, your voice all broken up here. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. That was wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, wonderful. So valuable. Your instructions, my God. Every time.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for so many practical points. Thank you so much. I hope there are no more questions for Prabhuji. We can end the call here.
I hope there's no
Sorry,
more.
Mataji, do you have a question, Mataji?
No. I was just laughing because you said, I hope there's no more questions for Prabhuji.
No, Mataji, we do have Navadwip Mandal Parikrama. So, devotees, please stay on.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, please pray for us that we should.
Well, you should pray for me. You know, like you see, I'll tell you one thing. So when we climb a mountain, people who are on the peak, they are at more risk rather than people who are standing down, because they can slip, and when they fall down, they'll die. So if you think I am advanced, then I am at more risk. So please pray for me. If I fall down, I'll die. But if you fall down, you will injure yourself. That's going to happen. Anyway, we both will pray for each other. And let's hope something good turns out for that. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class, and we look forward for your association again in the future. Let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji and all the devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grace Kesavanand Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Hare
so
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
devotees, please go.
The recording has stopped.
We will start our Brajamandal Parikrama. Parikrama. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Hare Krishna Padmasaki Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Padmasaki Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my beloved obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for giving your valuable time to enlighten us on the topic of Navadwip Mandal Parikrama. Please take over the call, Mataji.
Yeah, we will start our day one parikrama. We will just seek the blessings of Panchatattva, Sri Gauranga, Nityananda, Shri Radha Madhav, Shri Narsinghadev, and all the assembled devotees, so that we'll be able to do our parikrama with a humble mood. So today is Antardvip. Like we discussed, there are 9 islands, and in the center is Antardvip. It is actually a bigger one. We will see how much we can cover. This is the map. So firstly, before we are seeing what are the places, we will try to see why this name of Antardvip has come. Because before it is called as Autopur. The original name was Autopur, which is changed to Antardvip. So its circumference is 10 miles and it is, yes. So and we also have seen yesterday that the 9 processes of bhakti is exemplified in one island. So Atmanivedanam is exemplified in Antardvip. So if we do Antardvip Parikrama, our Atmanivedanam, the way we want to do it will increase, because Atmanivedanam is very difficult. Like bodily, physically we will do, but with mind, if we have to surrender our mind, is very, very difficult because it is very chanchala. So by the time we finish Antardvip Parikrama, if we try to do it with a humble mood, it is said that we will develop that quality of Atma Nivedanam. So Antar means something inside, like there is an inner reason, Antar, inside reason. So in this island, there is an inner message, there is a secret message that has been conveyed. So that is why this is named as Antardvip. So what is this message? We will see. So as we, and this Antardvip is also considered as Gokul Mahavan in Vrindavan. So because in there we have a lot of Gopas, Gopis in Gokul Mahavan, and in Antardvip also, when Nimai was born, there were all the neighbors, Brahmanas, so both are same. And also I heard somewhere that if we do Navadwip Mandal Parikrama, like Vrajmandal Parikrama is also done. And also yesterday we have discussed that it is made by the hands of Radharani, so it's much, much, much more special. So what is the secret message that has been revealed is, in Brahma Vimohan Leela, if you all remember, in Vrindavan Parikrama also we have seen where they're sitting in Bhojana Stali and Brahma comes. And Brahma comes, and what will happen? Madhumangal is a poor Brahmana and he brought a stale buttermilk and Krishna was willing to drink it. This beautiful pastime was narrated by His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj also. We have discussed a couple of times. And Krishna wants to drink that chuta, buttermilk of Madhumangal. So seeing all this, Brahma gets bewildered, and that is when Brahma Vimohana Leela happens. And after that, we know, we don't get into the pastime, but Brahma is regretting a lot. And we have seen famous picture of Krishna's, that Krishna is holding that timtli chutney and yogurt rice, because that day Krishna was eating yogurt rice with, what is that, tendli? In Vrindavan, there's one famous chutney. They're like round green balls. I think tenti. Yes, tenti. So he was holding in one hand, still talking with Brahma when Brahma is asking to forgive. And he finally says, after hearing, like he says, like, "Theek hai," with his hand, like it's okay, and he will leave. So Brahma got also confused. Like, did he forgive me? He didn't forgive me. But whatever is the reason, he's still repenting. So he feels very bad. He's repenting, and he comes to this place called Autopur, like today's Antardvip. So he comes there and he starts meditating. And as he's meditating, Krishna comes in the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu is very beautiful, very effulgent, is very tall, he has broad shoulders, long arms, golden complexion. And seeing that, Brahma is really getting so bewildered, like he's like literally shaking. And then he understands that this is none other than Lord Sri Krishna, and he will ask for forgiveness. Then Gauranga Mahaprabhu says, okay, I will forgive. And Brahma says, because of my position, I became proud. And I didn't even realize that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I made an offense. So next avatar, when you are coming, as Mahaprabhu reveals that he's going to come as Gauranga in Gauranga avatar. So he says, please give me a place where I will not be proud. Then Gauranga Mahaprabhu also says, when in Kali Yuga, when he comes as Gauranga, Brahma is going to come as Haridas Thakur. So that inner message, that secret message has been revealed here in Antardvip. So from Autopur, it became as Antardvip. So that is the meaning of why the name Antardvip has come. So in Antardvip, so we all know, if we go to Mayapur, if we don't go to all the nine islands also, at definitely we'll be going to our Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. Very beautiful place. The TOVP is also going to come. So Gaurang Mahaprabhu has a moon-like face. Udaya means rising, Chandra means moon. So moon-like Gauranga Mahaprabhu has appeared to remove the darkness. So Prabhupada has named this as Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. This is the entrance. Our parikrama will start from here, and as we are going, there is Prabhupada's bhajan kutir, and 24 hours, we will see in the video also, 24 hours the bhajan keeps on going in this bhajan kutir. There is nice deities are there, the Mangalartis happen, they offer nice bhoga, prasadam. Like everything is so good here. For those who have gone, must be remembering this place, very pleasant. These are the deities, Kaurnita in bhajan kutir. This is Prabhupada's bed. And this is the aerial view. And this is Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir. Pushpa Samadhi. And this is the deity inside the Samadhi. And this is our temple of Vedic Planetarium going to come very soon. They'll open in 2023, I guess. Yes. So this is the initial building. So if you can see the difference. So that in the beginning, this was there, like this is called a lotus building. Only this was there, and everything was open fields and lands. And today, if you see, this is the construction. Actually, when Nityananda Prabhu was doing parikrama, even if we can read there in that parikrama, that Nityananda Mahaprabhu specifically said that in Bengal they call as beautiful as Shundar, right? So he mentions that a beautiful temple is going to come here. So it's already predicted. And our beautiful deities, Ashtasaki, Radha Madhav, Panchatattva, and Narsimhadev, very merciful deities. They're also there in this Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. And then we are going to, so we'll come outside the main gate of ISKCON, then proceed towards Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Marg for 1 kilometer. And then we are coming to Yoga Peeth. So Yoga Peeth, very important place, must visiting place. So this is the Yoga Peeth, is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what happened in 1893, Bhaktivinoda Thakur established Yoga Peeth as the actual site of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. We know the pastime where he brings Jagannath Das Babaji to identify if that is the original place. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur goes, Mayapur was before called as Miyapur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur just goes to inquire, and then they say this place is called Miyapur, and there were lots of Muslims. But there were so many tulasis growing under neem trees, and there were lots of jasmine flowers, so many tulasi bushes. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur gets doubt, they're Muslims, and Muslims has nothing to do with tulasi. Why tulasi is growing so much? So then he suspects that this must be the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is when he brings Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj in a basket, and he will confirm. So in Yoga Peeth, when we enter, actually, there are 2 shrines. One is for Sakhi Charan Das Babaji, because he helped financially to construct this Yoga Peeth, and we will also see Bhaktivinoda Thakur's shrine. So one on the left side, one on the right side, as you are entering the Yoga Peeth. And this is the altar. Gaurang Mahaprabhu with Radha Madhav. Then Gaurang Mahaprabhu with Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya has 2 concerts, and the Panchatattva with Jagannath. So this is the altar. As soon as you go, you will see this altar. And here there is one, it's not clear here, but in the next slide. So there is one Vishnu form, Adokshaja Vishnu. So what happened when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was trying to build this temple, then in that process they found this. So this is a very clear picture which is placed here. So Adokshaja Vishnu is there, and on the other sides you will see Lakshmi Devi and Bhudevi also. And I don't see if it is clear. If you can see his hands form, like Shanka is here. So this was found by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1934. And in this, and also you will see Lakshmi Narasimhadev deity and Gaura Gadadhar deities also in this premises. This is Gaura Gadadhar and this is Lakshmi Narasimhadev deities are also there. Because this is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's said that Lakshmi Narasimhadev was worshipped by Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra. And now comes the most important place, the Neem Tree. So this is the Neem Tree. We all know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was named as Neemai because he was born under a Neem Tree. So this is that Neem Tree under which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been born. Actually, when I went, I plucked the neem branch, and when I was coming to the altar, the pujari said, "Oh, why did you pluck? You should not pluck." I said, "I did it by mistake. Please forgive me." So next time, if somebody goes there, like, please don't pluck the neem leaves. And there we have the this beautiful deities of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. Very, 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 very well taken. Very beautiful. They dress them so nicely. So that that small temple is there, and there is a temple of Shiva here. Actually, this here. So here, what happens? There are two lingas. One is a big Shivling, and this is a small Shivling. Small Shivling is called Gopeshwar Mahadev, and the big one, he is Kshetra Palak. And the small Shivling is said that he will engage us in the service of the Dham. Like Gopeshwar Mahadev always wanted, we know he wanted to enter the Rasa Leela, and Shiva goes as Gopeshwar Mahadev. So if we pray to Gopeshwar Mahadev, he will give us the service in Dham. So we will find that also in Yoga Peeth. And then this is Gaura Kund, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to take bath. So it's beside the temple complex. It's not inside, but it is towards the outside. If you have to come outside and see this Gaura Kund. And Yoga Pit is done. From there, we will go to Srivas. Everything is close by. Srivas Angan, then Advaita Bhavan is there. Everything is close by. So then we will go to Srivas Angan. So we all know Srivas Angan. Srivas Thakur is none other than Narada Muni. And his place, his house, Srivas Angan's house is considered as the, like we have Rasasthali, where Krishna is doing Rasa Krida, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu used to do every day Sankirtan. So it is called as Rasasthali here in Kali Yuga, like in Mayapur. So Srivas Angan, and we know Srivas Thakur's wife is Malini. In Vrindavan Leela, she is Ambika, like nurse, like taking care of Krishna. So now she came as Malini. And here we have a very nice Kola, it's Bengali names, Kola Bhanga Dhanga. It's like broken during that Chand Kazi, the broken Mridanga is also there in Srivas Angan. We will see. This is the entrance. And these are the deities in Srivas Angan. And in Srivas Angan, we will see this beautiful deity of like where Mahaprabhu revealed the Mahaprakash Leela. So that's why we will have this beautiful deities. So Mahaprabhu sitting in the center, and Gadadhar Pandit is spanning him. Nityananda is holding an umbrella. And actually in Srivas Angan is that very beautiful. We know the pastime where in Srivas Angan, his son passes away, and then Srivas Thakur asks his wife not to cry because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic Sankirtan will be disturbed. So that pastime we all know. And even the pastime of Gopal Chapel, where he was very envious. This Brahmana, he got very envious of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Srivas Thakur, and everybody around Srivas Thakur, because he's living there for a long time, they know what he is. So what he does, he was very envious, and slowly he will sneak in the house, and he wanted to prove that Srivas Thakur is cheating by saying that he's a Vaishnava, rather he's a Durga worshipper. He wanted to prove like that. So what he will do, he will bring turmeric, sandalwood, then he will bring a bottle of wine, then meat. So what all Durga worshippers use, he brings all that, and he will keep it in Srivas Thakur's house. And next day morning, he tries to prove that Srivas Thakur is cheating people. Then what happened? So Srivas Thakur, obviously being a Vaishnava, he didn't respond in a rebellious way. It was just, everybody was very quiet. But in 2 or 3 days, he develops leprosy. and he's in terrible pain, and his family started rejecting. Leprosy is a very painful disease, so his family started rejecting him, and he was feeling very painful. So he leaves the house, and on the way he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was going to take bath in Ganges. Then he will ask for forgiveness, and seeing his face, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets very angry, and he says he will not even forgive him. So this Gopal Chapel is he's like that only. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas, he again comes, and he will really beg for forgiveness this time. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you offended Srivas Thakur, so you have to go and ask his forgiveness. So here it is shown how offending Vaishnava is very, very big aparadh. So he will go to Srivas Thakur, and Srivas Thakur, being a Vaishnava, very merciful, he will immediately forgive this Brahmana. So that pastime also took place in Srivas Angan. And this is the broken mridanga. During that Chand Kazi and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's discussion, the mridanga, will not get into the pastime, but that mridanga is still there. This is the same mridanga which was broken by Chand Kazi. In Srivas Angan, we'll see there. And here the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his six-handed form. He was holding a kamandalu, dhanda, flute. So he revealed that in Srivas Angan. Very, very potent, very beautiful. When we go here, if we go sit there, chant and cry, it's said that it's a very potent place, Srivas Angan. And we know the pastime where we will not see that pastime, where Srivas Thakur's son passed away. And that pastime also happened here. And very close to this, we will see even Advaita Bhavan. So this is the place where Advaita Acharya used to come. He used to live in Shantipur, but when he comes to Mayapur, he used to stay here and he used to pray for Lord Vishnu to appear. So very close by, just maybe 2-3 feet, you will see Advaita Bhavan. And then there is Gadadhar Angan also, all the Panchatattva Angan. And then this is another important thing, Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, which was established by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1918, and he calls this Brajapatana. Why he calls this Brajapatana? Yesterday we have seen that Vrindavan is also here in Navadvip. So if you enter Gaudiya Math, you will see all Vrindavan. There is Radha Kund, there is Shyam Kund, there is Giri Govardhan, all are here. And Sachi Mata's sister Malati and her husband Chandrasekhar used to stay here. After Jagannath Mishra left, they took the responsibility of Sachi Mata and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did so many pastimes here, they used to do dramas. Many pastimes were enacted here. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he was crying, Chandrasekhar was crying a lot. So now we will see the Gaudiya Math, the Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. So these are the beautiful deities, Sri Sri Giridhari Gandharvika, which were established by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself. And the specialty of this is when you are circumambulating, on the top, please remember, if you go next time, I didn't get a picture. So when you're circumambulating, on all the 4 sides, you will see the acharyas of the 4 sampradayas, Nimbarkacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami. On 4 sides, you will see all the 4 acharyas. And then we have Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj's Samadhi also here. Actually, his Samadhi was in Kuliagram, but because the Ganga has been raising, the waters have been raising, they shifted it to here in 1932. His Samadhi has been shifted here. So that is there. And see, this is Giri Govardhan. And this is Radha Kund. I couldn't get the picture of Shyam Kund, but this is Radha Kund in Gaudiya Math, Brajapattana. And this is Radha Kund. So we'll take blessings. And then this is where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to reside. That's his residence. It's still there. And if you go, you'll get to see his bed. This is his bed, and these are his shoes, basically his lotus feet. So this is the bed from where actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada departed this world. Take the blessings. Very beautiful, right? Actually, when we are walking and seeing all this, we can understand the potency. We feel something very different from inside. And this stone plate during Chaturya Mass, it's ideally said you should not eat in a plate. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to eat on this stone. This is the plate he used to eat. That plate is still there. And this is his Samadhi Mandir. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's Samadhi Mandir. Okay. And as we walk, so all these, the place that we are seeing now, there are various ghats, but all of them have been lost now, but they used to be there here. Like, so we will see what are those. There's Vriddha Shiva Ghat, Mahaprabhu Ghat, Jagai Madai Ghat, Barakona Ghat. So Jagai Madai Ghat, we know the Jagai Madai pastime, and Jagai and Madai, they were repenting. Madai was repenting a lot. He was asking, what can I do? What can I do? And then Nityananda gives him a service. He will say, every day clean the bathing place of near Ganges. So basically the devotees come and bathe, the Vaishnavas, devotees. So he will say, clean that bathing place. And Madai did that for like whatever time. So he used to do every day. That is called Jagai Madai Ghat. And Mahaprabhu Ghat is place where he used to take bath here. And Vriddha Shiva Ghat is that small Shiva, that Gopeshwar Mahadev, the small Shiva Linga was found here at Vriddha Shiva Ghat. And at Barakona Ghat, this was built by who? Vishwakarma. And this is the place where this ghat, that Barakon Ghat is place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught grammar, and he defeated Keshav Kashmiri also here. And Nagariya Ghat is a place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after on the way from school, he used to come and do water sports here. And Lakshmi Priya, the eternal consort of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first time Sachi Mata saw her here at Nagariya Ghat. So they're all lost. We cannot see them now. And Ganga Nagara is there. So just now we have seen Nagariya Ghat. Mahaprabhu used to come after his school and take bath here. So Ganga Nagara is the place where his school was there. So we can understand it's very close by. And this Ganga Nagara, it is in between Chaitanya Mat, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj's Samadhi, and Murari Gupta's house. As I said, this place is almost lost now. And next we have this Ganga Nagara. It's called Ganga Nagara because we know Bhagirata calls, he does lots of austerities to bring Ganga so that she can liberate his ancestors. And while he was bringing her, she will stop at this place. And then he asks, still 100 kilometers is there, why did you stop? So she says, the Falguna Purnima is going to come, and I just came from the lotus feet of the Lord, and my Lord is staying here, and Falguna Purnima, Gaura Purnima is going to come, so can we go after that? So even Bhagirata also stayed here, Ganga also stayed here, and once the Purnima is done, then she again went with Bhagirata and fulfilled his desire. So this place is now called Ballal Digi. It's still there. Oh, I think I didn't paste the picture. Tomorrow I will show you. I found it in the morning. So that it's called Ballal Digi now. It's little stream of water is there. So that is the place. And then there is Bharadwaj Tila. So Bharadwaj Tila is this. So what happened? He used to worship Lord Gauranga, and he did here a lot of austerities. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he asked for a boon, and he said, "Oh my Lord, my only prayer is that you will bless me so that I will see your manifested pastimes here in Navadvip." So Bharadwaj Maharaj did austerities here because he used to travel everywhere and do a lot of austerities. When he comes here, he felt very ecstatic. So he stopped here and he did austerities, and thereby he asked Gauranga Mahaprabhu that he wanted to see his pastimes. And then we have Murari Gupta's house. So Murari Gupta is none other than Hanumanji. So these deities are there in Murari Gupta because he is Hanumanji. And sometimes when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here, it seems he used to say, "Hey monkey, don't you remember that like our pastimes when you were a monkey, like that they used to talk." Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati only installed these deities. So this is Murari Gupta's house. And then we'll see Prutu Kund. So what happened when Prutu Maharaj was trying to level the earth, he orders his soldiers, when they come here, they found it very effulgent. So Prutu Maharaj, being the Sektavesh avatar of the Lord, he understood that this is going to be a place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he will ask them to build a beautiful lake. So Prutu Kund is that beautiful lake which was built on the order of Prutu Maharaj. Then there is Sridhar Angan. I'm not going to deep past tense because of the time constraint. So Sridhar Angan, we know that Kolavecha Sridhar pastime. So his Angan is also here. Nityananda visited in the Parikrama. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also visited. And Kolavecha Sridhar, the banana seller, he is a Kushuma Sava Gopa in the spiritual world. So this place is considered as Madhuvan. The Sridhar Angan is considered as Madhuvan in our Vrindavan. So this is there. And then Shashti Tirthas, 60 Tirthas means there are, it's mentioned in Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Navadwip Mahatmya that there are Shashti is 60 small lakes are dug, because Vishwakarma did this because he was thinking when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu might do the Nagar Sankirtan, they all might be thirsty. So he dug 60 small wells, like small ponds. So that Shashti Tirtha is also there in Antardvip. And then we will come to Nandanacharya's Bhavan. It is also called as Sri Ishodhyana. Isho is the Lord, Udhyana is the garden. So the area, there's Ganga and Saraswati's intersection. So from there up to the Samadhi of Srila Prabhupada, it is called Ishodhyana, the garden of the Lord's garden. So close by to this place is Nandanacharya's Bhavan. So this is the place where first Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya has met for the first time. So what happens was Nityananda is visiting all different places and he comes here knowing that the Lord is here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, but without seeing him directly, he will go and stay in Nandanacharya's house. And when he is staying there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he understands. And he tells to, I think, Haridas Thakur and, one is Haridas Thakur, another is Srivas Thakur, if I am not wrong. I forgot. So he will tell to them, Haridas Thakur is definitely there, another person. So he keeps telling that a munificent personality has come to, my Navadwip. And yesterday night I got a dream that he came down of a cart and he wore a blue dhoti. It is very munificent, very beautiful. He has come. So please go find him. And Haridas Thakur and I think Srivas Thakur. I'm so sorry. I'll tell tomorrow who the other person is. So they both will go and they will go and keep searching. Then they come back. They say that we didn't find any munificent person that you were mentioning. Then Mahaprabhu smiles and he himself comes to this Nandanacharya's Bhavan. And he will come and as soon as they come, there was a very beautiful exchange. Oh, there is a picture. Yeah, so Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they'll have a beautiful exchange and they will shed tears of ecstasy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to establish how great Nityananda Prabhu is, he will ask his assistants, like who are assisting him, to read Bhagavatam. And when they're reading Bhagavatam, hearing the pastimes, like Nityananda becomes so ecstatic, he's shedding tears and is jumping high in the sky, jumping, falling down, jumping, falling down. They felt as if his bones are being broken and he faints. And then he regains his consciousness. Again, he will cry. Again, he will fall down. So that has been happening up until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes and takes him on his lap. So then he will come into consciousness. So the first meeting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu happened at this Nandanacharya's Bhavan. So these are the places in Antardvip. What's the time? 9.
Srivas and Haridas Mataji.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, it's Srivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur. Yes, Mataji. I think it's Srivas Thakur only. So that is the places in Antardvip. If you all can wait for 5-10 minutes, we can see the video, or else maybe we can see tomorrow, whatever you say. It's already 9:20.
We can see it today.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, it's getting late. So we'll do it tomorrow, Mataji.
You want to see tomorrow, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, because it's already 9:20.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji, for taking us to beautiful places in.
Yes, whatever is there, I try to keep all the places, Mataji, but no time to dig into deep pastimes. But we'll see all the beautiful videos tomorrow. Nandanacharya's Bhavan, Yoga Peeth, Gaudiya Mutt, or Mayapur Temple. We will see all that tomorrow.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. See you all tomorrow.
Mataji, Raj Prabhuji is asking if you have that neem branch, can you show us tomorrow?
I actually I mixed all the barks and mud, Prabhuji, because they got dried. I have that. I'll show you tomorrow. That soil from that neem tree and that neem stick, everything is there. I'll show you. Definitely, I'll show tomorrow. I'll show.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Raj Prabhuji, for asking that. Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for having your wonderful time with us. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Padma Sakhi Gopi Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.